You're listening to DraftKings Network.
Shop Wayfair's Black Friday in July, now through July 29th. Get up to 80% off everything home. Plus, flash deals you don't want to miss. Head to wayfair.com to start shopping our lowest prices of the summer.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Hello, welcome to the Hockey Show. My name is Roy Bellamy. That's David Druk of the Hockey News, and we are going to talk about hockey movies coming up. We got ourselves a top 5 list of hockey movies that we believe are very good.
We took a lot of time and effort into these rankings, so I hope you guys appreciate what we did. But
yeah, well, you did. But first, some news out of the hockey world came out this week as the Edmonton Oilers hired Stan Bowman as general manager and executive vice president of hockey operations. Stan Bowman, Joel Quenneville, and Al McIsaac were suspended indefinitely in 2021 because they mishandled some sexual assault allegations by former Blackhawks player Kyle Beach against video coach Brad Aldridge. Aldridge has his name on the Stanley Cup, or I should say had his name on the Stanley Cup for the 2010 team, except the Hockey Hall of Fame edited it out. They hammered a bunch of X's above Brad Aldridge's name.
It's got to be like the biggest disparagement. Like, that's all. It's not even like getting it erased. Yeah. Like, it's there with X's over it forever. Like,
yeah, every time you ask, why is his name X now? Oh, because he sexually assaulted a player.
That's awful.
Yeah, that's awful. 3 weeks ago, July 1st, Bowman, Quenneville, and McIsaac were all reinstated by the National Hockey League. So, 3 weeks later, the Edmonton Oilers have decided to hire Bowman as pretty much head man in charge.
Hockey czar.
For the defending Western Conference champion. And the question is, why?
Well, I see why. Like, if you want to like dive into it, you can see why based off of the hockey X's and O's, the nuts and bolts, like what he did in Chicago when they were good. Like, he took over a team that was in win now mode, and he helped them to win now for a few years. And so I can see why Edmonton very much in win now mode. Arguably the top team in the West right now, heading into the season. It's what Aldrich, or it's what Aldrich. No,
not Aldrich.
No. It's what Bowman did after the Blackhawks started winning Stanley Cups that kind of destroyed that dynasty, which is what draws the questions. And that's just the X's and O's element. We're not even talking about the morality and that whole part of hiring him. Taking a team that's maybe like, I mean, I don't know when Edmonton has been this high in terms of excitement, in terms of the team. They're viewed as maybe the best team in the West right now, and the fans are pumped. And now you bring in somebody that at least half the fan base, you have to think they're wringing their hands right now. Like, what the hell are they thinking bringing in this guy who's got, kind of a scarlet letter on his forehead, for lack of a better term?
If you are on the Oilers roster, or you're an Oilers prospect in juniors, or you might be on their AHL team, you gotta wonder, well, how can we trust the organization if you have somebody who can't go to bat for one of the players, like Bowman did not?
Right.
And you got to keep in mind when these allegations happened. This happened during the playoffs. This happened during the Sharks series when the Blackhawks played them in 2010.
Yep.
That got swept under the rug. Nothing happened to Aldridge during that time. So what's to say that happens again? One of the coaches, one of the people in the front office, or player to player. What if that happens during the season and that happens again? What do you do?
It's tough. You have to think that this is something that's crept into a player's minds over the last week or so. How could it not? You would think that after what happened in 2010 in the setting, in the place that we're living in right now, that if, God forbid, something like that did happen, that the players would feel empowered enough to speak up about it, which probably wasn't the case, 20 or 15 years ago when it happened in 2010. But it's a thought that players are having that's not necessary. Like, was Edmonton that desperate did they zero in, like, this is the guy, this is the only guy that's going to work for us? Because there's so much gray. Like, it's so far from black and white with this. It's not right or wrong. Like, there's so much nuance to it. You just wonder what's the decision-making that behind it, and why was this the guy that it had to be? And
this is another thing that I also thought about, that this is a retread. This is how the Mike Babcocks of the world keep getting jobs, because you keep going back to that well. Like, at least the Panthers, they got Bill Zito. Like, that was a former agent who was in the Columbus organization, who was assistant GM. They hired him, and now they're Stanley Cup champion. They didn't go with a retread. They went with somebody else who proved themselves. The Oilers are not doing that here.
No, they're not. And they're opening themselves up to a lot of scrutiny. Obviously, what we're talking about it's been, widely discussed over the past few days. In this day and age where so much is image, and as I said, I just keep going back to where the Oilers are right now. Like, this is probably the best spot that team and that franchise has been in since, mid-2000s when they went to the Stanley Cup final. And even then, like, that team, that was kind of like a Cinderella type team that went to the final with, like, UC Markkinen, I think, was their goalie, and, like, Chris Pronger was on that team. I don't know, man. I'm curious to see how it plays out. And I'm rooting for this to all end up being okay. That, Stan Bowman has learned his lesson. I mean, we know Sheldon Kennedy kind of went to bat for him, and that's kind of the big thing that they're hanging their hats on out there. And hopefully that this is just a big learning thing, and it shows that we can all get better and we can learn from our mistakes. But I have a lot of questions, and I'll be watching this very closely, as I'm sure a lot of people will be.
Transition. All right, so
Segue.
This is where we talk about the top 5 movies that we have on our list. All right, explain what we're doing here, Dave.
All right, so Roy and I came up with a list of, 11 different movies with a couple sequels mixed in. They are, I'll go down it real quick, Miracle, the Goon movies, the Mighty Duck trilogy, Slapshot 1, only Slapshot 1, Youngblood, Mystery Alaska, The Tooth Fairy, Sudden Death, Happy Gilmore, and Most Valuable Primate. Now, we judge these movies on 4 criteria: storytelling, acting, hockey accuracy, cinematography. We ranked each category from 1 to 5, so the highest score any movie could get is a 20. You may need to go back and re-listen or rewatch that to get it all, but this is where we're at. We did this yesterday, and I took a lot of time. I'll be honest. I went back and I watched footage. I put way too much time into this, but it was a lot of fun. So that's we're top 5 hockey movies according to Roy and I. Roy?
All right, so I'm going to start with what did not make my list. Off the board, the Mighty Ducks. All right, so it was a 0 on hockey accuracy. Let's get that straight. That's ridiculous. It was a 1 on storytelling. It was a Disney-fied story.
Oh, my God.
So get that out of here. The acting was bad. That was a 1. And cinematography, I'll give that a 3. So,
right.
yeah. So that's off the board. Like, that didn't make the list, but I'll give you my stats on that.
I'm with you, though. Mighty Ducks didn't make my top 5. None of them did. They're just off, which is interesting. I wasn't quite as brutal as you were with, like, the acting wasn't great, but they're kids' movies. There was some decent acting. The cinematography was whatever.
Yeah, well, kids'
I give it good storytelling because I loved those stories when I was a kid. I gave them a 4, a 4, and a 3 on the storytelling. But either way, they're all out of my top 5.
All right, let's go with, for me, outside looking in. That would be Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
Listen, the acting, I'll give a 2. Maybe, you know what? I'll give it a 3 because of Christopher McDonald. Yeah. So Shooter McGavin, got yourself an
That's exactly what bumped it up from a 2 to a 3 for me, too. Yeah. Off my list are Most Valuable Primate and The Tooth Fairy, which The Tooth Fairy, go look up the cast in The Tooth Fairy. It is ridiculous. The cast that are like Julie Andrews, Billy Crystal, Ashley Judd, Stephen Merchant. Like, this is like an all-star cast. Disney went all out for The Tooth Fairy. But
so those are not even outside looking in. Those are just straight off the board.
Yeah, well, because my 5th place is a 4-way tie. So my outside looking in is kind of 5th place.
We're doing ties here.
Well, because we did a score ranking. Okay. So I'll give you my. By
the way, I'm not keeping count. I don't have a tabulator. I don't have a calculator. I don't have paper here, or
you're good.
I got a pen.
As long as you remember your top 5, we're good.
Yeah.
So my 5th place with 14 points each were Happy Gilmore, Slapshot, Goon 1, and Goon 2. So that's 5th place, 4-way tie, four not even bronze medals because it's 5th place.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, look, the Goon stories are great. I love both stories. I thought they're great. The hockey accuracy is actually pretty good in the Goon movies. Yeah. The hockey accuracy in Happy Gilmore, I give it that too because he's taking slap shots to play golf. So I'll give him that.
Oh. Good God.
And also, did I mention Slapshot is 5th place for me? Tied for 5th? Slapshot, I gave it a 4 I gave it a 4 for storytelling, and I gave it a 4 for cinematography because those old arenas, I love them.
Mm-hmm.
Hockey accuracy, just a 3, and acting, I mean, Hanrahan, but.
Yeah, that doesn't hold up, by the way.
Yeah, not so much.
You can't say the line from that particular.
No.
Cannot do that.
Most good movies from that era do not hold up these days.
Yeah. Number 5 for me is Mystery Alaska.
Number 5. Okay.
The acting is, I would give it a 4 on acting.
Okay.
Because Hank Azaria, I would say that is his most normal character that he's ever played. As you know, he's normally a voice actor.
That was all his voice.
Yeah, that was all his voice. That's all him, basically. Hockey accuracy, I would say, why would the Rangers do that?
Yeah.
So, a 1.
But you see, when I'm talking hockey accuracy, I'm talking like the hockey action in the movie.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
That was pretty good.
The hockey action in the movie, sure. Yeah.
No NHL team is taking a mid-season break to go play pond hockey.
Yeah.
Let's go risk getting injured on a non-certified ice.
Yeah. The cinematography was a 3 because sure.
Cinematography for me was a 5. That was gorgeous. Okay. That was come on. Cultures and stuff.
All right, fine.
All right, my number 4 is Youngblood. I gave it a 4 for storytelling. Awesome story. Keanu Reeves was the goalie. Patrick Swayze, it's great acting as well. Hockey accuracy, I gave that a 4. Cinematography, I gave it a 3. But just a great hockey movie.
Yeah.
Also, Cynthia Gibb, gorgeous.
Yeah. Number 4 for me is Sudden Death.
Okay.
Now, the acting was...
The acting is very like peaks and valleys because Jean-Claude Van Damme is Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah.
But Powers Booth...
Yeah, he's
good.
He's up there on
the dude that played Hallmark, whose name I can't think of.
Oh man, he was in Full Metal Jacket.
Yes,
I
he was.
forgot his name, but yeah,
there's some decent acting in that movie.
Yeah, Damien Hallward. There it is.
Wow,
see,
that's some good recall right there.
Thank you. Terrible acting, but in a good way. I would give that a 3, just based on Powers Booth, just like Hank, just like Christopher McDonald. Storytelling. It's pretty
I gave it a 5 for storytelling.
I gave it a 4.
They dropped a helicopter into the igloo.
Yeah.
So Sudden Death is my number 3. So I gave it a 5 for storytelling. I gave it a 4 for acting and cinematography, because as I just said, cool use of the igloo. Hockey accuracy, I gave it a 3 because it looked good, but so far-fetched. Tolliver! Get your ass back in there!
It is absolutely not. I think a head coach would notice that his goaltender
it's perfect because coaches don't know goalies at all. Wow. Just ask Paul Maurice, who says he doesn't know anything about goalies. It's just, it fits.
Miracle was my number 3.
Oh,
it was excellent at 5. Excellent acting.
Yeah.
Kurt Russell as Herb Brooks. Great job in that movie. Hockey accuracy is a docudrama, so that's going to have to be a 5.
Yeah.
But storytelling, Disney-fied. So I would have to give that a 3, unfortunately, on that one. And, of course, cinematography is always going to be good on that one.
Oh, yeah. Number 2 for me was Mystery Alaska. I gave it a 3 for storytelling, but I gave it a 4 for acting. I thought, Russell Crowe was really good. The girl who played his wife, who I can't remember, Nancy something. Really good across the board. The girl who does the cheese commercials, she was the news reporter that Stank Martin tried to hook up with. It's just funny. The cinematography was amazing, and I thought the hockey action was pretty accurate too. So 17 out of 20 for Mystery Alaska.
Goon is my number 2.
Yeah, you love Goon.
Yeah, Goon was an excellent movie. I love that movie. The acting. Come on.
I gave Goon 4 for acting.
Yeah, really?
I did. I gave it a 4 for both movies for acting.
Man.
It's a great cast.
Leo Schreiber is the man.
Yes.
Yeah. So I would give
voice
that
of Hard
just
Knocks.
based on that. Storytelling as a comedy. All this is far-fetched, so, I give it a 3.
Yeah, same.
Hockey accuracy,
It's pretty good. I give them 4s.
Yeah.
The pads are on straight. They look good. The hockey action looks pretty accurate.
The one thing I would ding them on is towards the end of the movie, the playmaker getting a 5-minute major for high sticking would normally be a game misconduct.
Well, yes.
Yeah, so that's something I would absolutely give them.
That knocks it down from a 5 to a 4, yeah.
Yeah, but otherwise, excellent movie.
So my number 1, Miracle. Amazing hockey movie. The only thing that didn't get a 5 from me was, you're going to throw something at me, it's the acting. Just because the high end, the Kurt Russell, the Patricia Clarkson, like the professional actors were great. And one or two of the hockey players were professional actors. The rest, like the guy who played Mike Ruzioni, God love him, from the same... You know, you could tell that they weren't professional actors, but overall, I mean, it's just, I gave it 19 out of 20. It's an amazing hockey movie.
And number 1 for me is Slapshot. Cream of the crop, except it does not hold up.
Except we can't watch it in public anymore.
Cannot watch it in public. I mean, you got one of the greatest actors of all time in Paul Newman.
Yeah.
He said he had so much fun doing that movie. It's his most favorite movie, so you got to give that to him. And the hockey accuracy, I mean, was there a lot of line brawls in the national hockey?
There were some very true elements. Yeah. Very true elements to that. And also the Hanson brothers are like iconic.
Yeah.
For like 4 decades now, those guys have like been part of hockey lore. So that's our top 5 lists. Not bad.
You probably won't agree with us. Maybe you will agree with us. But we're just filling content during the offseason, so what do you want us to do?
So the next one that we're going to do is we're going to rank fictional hockey players. And that one is going to take an even deeper dive, I think.
Yeah.
Because that's more than just movies. We got to get into like Shoresy.
Television.
Yeah, so that should be fun.
The Blueberry Bulldogs out of Sudbury.
Hey, look at your jersey, your hoodie.
My little hoodie. All right, see you next week. Goodbye.
Hey, it's Mike Ryan. How do you like to grill your barbecue? Tell me. I'll be quiet. I'll stand back. I'll listen for approximately 2.5 seconds. Wow, a lot of great suggestions in there. Let me give you a suggestion. I need everybody in the audience to pair their barbecue with Miller Lite. I've been doing a lot of travel lately, and I really reveled in the fact that I got to stay home with my family. It was hot out. It was a perfect day for the pool. And what goes good with that? Miller time, of course. You know that's what I was getting at. I don't like debates. And that's why I go with Miller Lite, because it's got undebatable quality. It tastes as great as your barbecue. It's a beer that strips everything away that you don't need and holds on to what matters most. It's the light beer with the most taste, less filling, at only 96 calories. That is perfect for when you're eating some barbecue outside with your family. With a Miller Lite in your hand, grilling doesn't just taste great. It tastes like Miller time. To get Miller Lite delivered right to your door, visit MillerLite.com/Dan, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories per 12 ounces.